I woke up this morning in a very strange land. Saw a man in black with a pink Cadillac down the road, strumming a guitar and singing the blues into a old microphone. So I opened the front door and stepped outside as he approached with a sneer and a smile. He said, "Hey man, can you help me find my way home?" He raised up one of his eyebrows and said, "Hey man, let's go." Yippee-yi-hey, yippee-yi-oh, it's a long way from Graceland, so far from home. Yippee-yi-hey, yippee-yi-oh, it's a long way from Graceland, out in the cold. We jumped in that caddy and turned the radio up. The speakers were dancing to Jailhouse Rock. With the wind in our hair, we were cruising at top speed, drinking spicy mustard, tequila shots, and smoking carpet weed. Well, the tires were flat, we were running on fumes, mad as a hatter, high on mushrooms, screaming out loud, I must be dead. He just leaned over and in a southern drawl, this is what he said. Yippee-yi-hey, yippee-yi-oh, it's a long way from Graceland, so far from home. Yippee-yi-hey, yippee-yi-oh, it's a long way from Graceland, out in the cold. We drove all night to get back to the sun, caught in the eyes, we spun and spun, singing the praise to the king with a new tattoo, and clicking the heels of my worn out blue suede boots. Yippee-yi-hey, yippee-yi-oh, it's a long way from Graceland, so far from home. Yippee-yi-hey, yippee-yi-oh, it's a long way from Graceland, out in the cold. Yippee-yi-hey, yippee-yi-oh, it's a long way from Graceland, out in the cold. It's a long way from Graceland, a long way from Graceland, a long way from Graceland.
So I'm here with Stephen Wells, the founder of the band Ghostowne, and we're here to talk about a song called "A Long Way from Graceland."
Correct. Basically, the song began with a dream I had. So I basically woke up and the concept was a Wizard of Oz kind of a theme. But instead of the house landing and you end up in Oz, I open the door and there's Elvis. And I step outside, as the lyric says, and then we begin to drive around and drink and do drugs with Elvis all day. So it's kind of a dreamscape, but I've thrown in some really kind of humorous and true to life lyric of certain things that actually happened to us or me. Certain lines in there that are really funny. There's a line in there about doing mustard tequila shots that actually happened camping with the band members.
I was wondering what that was. I don't think I've ever tried one.
Yeah, they're delicious. And I sold the band on the backstory on that is the bass player that just passed, Sparky Tuttle, who'd been with us for 10 years. We used to camp and fish together. And me and the drummer, Gordon, the drummer, and Sparky and me were up camping. And, you know, we're fly fishing. We get done with the day and we're sitting around the campfire drinking tequila and beers. And I couldn't find the salt. And it was dark out. And so I grabbed the mustard by mistake. I'm like, oh, that'll do. And, you know, when you put the salt on your hand and you lick it, it was spicy mustard. I put that on there. Did the shot. And it was the most disgusting thing you could imagine. But I sold it well. I was like, whoa, man, that's so good. And I was looking at the other guy. This is so good. You have to try it. No way. That's like, no, you have to try it. So I literally sold them into doing it and they both tried it. And from then it became a joke. And we actually sold other people in bars, like we'd been in a bar and told people, and they would go and order it and get mustard and try it because so it was this ongoing joke. So I had to throw it in a song. It was perfect for this kind of a lyric.
Has anybody decided that tastes good?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. But it's just a really funny story that I kind of threw into this because it's kind of a dreamscape song. And I thought, well, that reality fits right into the, you know, it's kind of dreamscape storyline.
And so what happens in the dreamscape?
So like I said, I show up and I, you know, land wherever Elvis is. And then what I do is I just jump in his caddy and we drive around and we do drugs and we do tequila mustard shots and smoking carpet weed, which goes way back to another true story that a friend dared me to put that line in because years ago we smoked carpet weed and I swear it was a piece of carpet. He said it was weed. But I still to this day think it was actually just a piece of fuzz carpet. And so it was kind of funny. And I said, I'm going to put that in a song one day. And this was 5-6 years ago. And so it just kind of, I'm like, oh yeah, he dared me to put that in. So the whole concept is just kind of real tongue in cheek, but real dreamscapey and kind of cartoonish in a way.
And you get a tattoo along the way?
Well, no, in the
dream?
I have an Elvis tattoo.
Oh, you do?
So I threw that in there. It's like, you know,
you have more than one tattoo.
I have many, yeah.
And do you have more than one artist, or is it just Elvis?
No, just Elvis. Elvis. He was the one that got the ball rolling as a kid. I was just really young. My parents, neither of them played music, but they enjoyed music. And so it was always in the house. In the morning, I'd wake up, my dad would be drinking coffee, reading the newspaper, and listening to music. And he listened to mainly classic rock and oldies. And so those kind of got stuck in my head as a young, you know, child. Elvis was like, whoa. And then I saw him on TV and I'm like, he is the coolest guy I've ever seen. And still to this day, I think he's the coolest rock star ever, you know. A lot of those artists from that era he listened to, but that one, Elvis, for some reason, just really stuck with me and got me. I got to do something like that, you know.
So the melody of this song, I would not call an Elvis melody.
No.
Who inspired you? How'd you come up with the melody?
Basically, I just sat down like I do with all my songs I write, and I just sometimes I'll have a title. In this case, I kind of had a blueprint because I had the dream, so I jotted down in the morning basically what it was. It's like a Wizard of Oz, but Elvis instead of the Munchkins and all that. So I had kind of a blueprint of what I wanted to create. So I thought I just started writing, and I think I came up with that chorus first, and then I started basing I went backwards and then got the verses and kind of started putting them together, and that's where I'd start. And some of these, like the song like this, I'm literally writing it and laughing. I'm like, there's a line in there about carpet weed. Who puts that in a song? So it's kind of funny and tongue in cheek, and the melody, I just start singing it and going, oh yeah, this is yippee-yi-yi, and just, oh yeah, that's really catchy. That's perfect on the chorus, and then I just put the song together and then bring in the other guys and say, here's my concept. And then, we kind of tweak it a little bit. So
if your musical sort of muses aren't Elvis, are there musical inspirations from other artists on the melody here?
Maybe not. Well, there probably is, but this one is more of the storyline based off of Elvis. I wouldn't say the melody line or the song itself has anything to do with Elvis.
Right. But is there someone else, like a Tom Petty or?
No. It's just me. You know, in most cases when I write something, I don't think of another artist. But as an artist, I listen to everything. And I think that's why Ghostowne, you know, we've been around celebrating 20 years this year, and working on our eighth record coming up, hopefully this winter, next spring at the latest. I think I listen to such a broad amount of music, it just kind of all gets in there. You know,
big melting pot. Not any one thing.
As a child, I grew up in Minnesota, in way up near the Canadian border, small mining town, and so we listened to everything up there. You know, you listen to, we got into high school, you'd go to keg parties, and they were playing Tom Petty and big kind of Midwest rockers like Mellencamp and Petty
Seeger
and Springsteen and those. But at the same time, we were listening to Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden and Van Halen and, those artists too, which I love. And so it's kind of a melting pot, and blues, and it just, just regular rock and roll guys like Bryan Adams was really popular back then. Bands like that you would just be like, oh yeah, that's cool too. So it was not like you were stuck in one genre. I did find when I started to write music, I couldn't really write more of the heavy metal or the rock. I tried.
That wasn't your voice.
It just wasn't. Just didn't feel like it was me. Even though I love it and I listen to it and I still listen to that. It's when I started writing music, it just didn't come out that way. It came out more country, southern rock. Probably more of the Springsteen, Mellencamp, Petty influence kind of came out in my writing versus, say, Iron Maiden or AC/DC.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's just, I guess they are more singer-songwriters, whereas the metal bands were more, they wrote it as a band and a lot of riffs and that, and I just wasn't that talented, I guess.
So you described this sound as American twang.
Yeah.
Which is, in my mind, something different than those other people than you've mentioned. In fact, more of a country sound.
Yeah, well,
to it, and
we do.
Yippee is a country.
Yeah, and we do, and that's kind of the play on it. We have an album called American Twang, and that kind of, to me, that embodies everything that is Ghostowne. We're an American band, so we imply, but we're twangy. We play Telecasters, and I have all my songs are kind of have a country lyric theme to them. A lot of drinking songs, a lot of those kind of things, but we incorporate a little bit of blues, rock and roll, and country. And to me, it's kind of Americana, American music, but twangy. So that's kind of where I came up with that theme. And that specific song called American Twang kind of emulates that theme. Like, we're American Twang. We blues, rock, country, it's all kind of in a melting pot, and that's what you get with Ghostowne.
So you have a dream, you write the chorus, you fill out these verses, you come up with the melody, and then you go into the recording studio?
Yes.
How do you put that together? Who's involved in that?
Basically, I write the song, and then we kind of, it works differently. On this last record, we did it really different than we've done in the past. On all the previous records, we went in as a band into the studio. We rehearsed the songs. We got them worked out. We went in. We worked with Matt Weiniger. I'm not sure if you know who he is. He produced all the Ghostowne records, even this current one. He engineered them, and so we'd go to his studio and when he lived in Salt Lake. And so now that he's moved, we were like, what are we going to do? And so I talked to him, and he said, well, just get the tracks, and I'll mix it for you. And so, as you can see in this, we're sitting around, there's the drum kit, and I've got other things, and I've got all the recording gear. So I said, all right, great. So we went and we did it. Basically, I would record the vocal to an acoustic guitar and to a click track, and I would play the song in its entirety and bring the drummer in, and he would play a drum part to it. And then we'd get the bass player in, and then we'd have the guitar player come in. We had multiple guests on this record, so I had multiple guitar players, multiple bass players, multiple singers. I sang all the lead vocal, but we had a lot of guests
on this particular song.
This particular album.
But we're talking about this song.
On this particular song, it is a guest bass player.
Who is?
It was Johnny Lightfoot, who spent the last 10 years playing with Air Supply. And now he plays with, everybody. I mean, he kind of his daughter was growing up, so he kind of wanted to get off the road. And so now he lives locally, and we've been friends for 20 years. And so I said, well, come over and play something, you know. And so, hey, what are you thinking? And I told him kind of my concept on the bass line. All right, boom, and he played it. He's just extremely talented. And then the lead guitar player is Brock Peterson, who's in the band. The drummer was Gordon Gardner, who's a drummer in the band. We have 2 drummers, and Gordon's the one on this one. The bass player was Johnny. And then the singers, we had Walter James. He's a local singer-songwriter, phenomenal vocalist, songwriter. Good friend of mine. He came over, and they were doing the Yippee-Yi-Yays up high. And then Neil Middleton from the band Royal Bliss. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they're probably Salt Lake's largest hard rock band, and they tour all over, and we're really good friends. And so he sang, all these guys sang on multiple songs on the album, specifically on this one. So that's so that was kind of the finishing touches. Like, I need some different voices on here to give it more texture. Instead of me just singing them, it's nice to have somebody else do it. It adds another element, I think, to the song.
So everybody lays down their independent tracks here in your home studio.
Yes.
Use SoundCloud or something like that to
Studio One.
Studio One.
Yep.
With the producer.
Yep. And so, well, I'm basically the producer.
Okay.
And then when we finish the tracks, then we send it off to Matt Weiniger because he's Matt Weiniger to mix it, to make it sound good. So he adds all the reverbs and delays and all the compressions and all that. I just get the basic levels, make sure the levels are good, and the song structure is where we want it. Beginnings, ends, all that. And then everybody comes in and does their part, and we ship it off, and then he spends a week or 2 mixing it and sends it back, and
you're released.
And we're released, yeah.
And when did you release this?
This one came out basically the end of 2017, but it was more like 2018. It was in like this right around Christmas, 2017. So I call it 2018 because after the holidays is when everybody really started hearing it.
And how's the crowd reaction?
It was good. Yeah. People loved it. They liked I got a lot of response of we've never done guest stars before. And so I got a lot of excitement about that. Oh, you got this person, you got that person, this person on this song, that person on that song. And it was a lot of fun for me. And they're all friends. So it's like, hey, having your buddies come over. Hey, come on over and play on this song. We had so many songs for this last one, and my guitar, and we're all busy. We have day jobs and families, and so not everybody had the time, and I had all these songs. So I just called the guys in the band, hey, do you mind if so-and-so comes? No, not at all. I don't have time to do 13 songs. I'll do 9. You can get, farm the other ones out. It'll be fun. So, of course, now that they have to learn them to play them live, they're like, oh, I probably, now it's a little more time. But the concept was great. I'm going to do a little bit of that on the next record coming out next year. Probably more singers on this one than actual other musicians. I just love the color, of having the harmony vocalist be a little different than me, whether that's somebody else in the band already, which we do, like you would do live, or just an actual really good singer with a good voice come in and we work out a cool harmony and do it. So,
Stephen, at the end of the song, which is a rock song up to this point, you introduced Yippee-Yi-Yays, which is kind of country.
It is country, and that's the reason behind it, because the song is rock. So I wanted to kind of put a country flair on it. And so I came up with the concept for Yippee-Yi-Yay. Yippee-Ki-Yay is the one, what I stole it from, but I couldn't do Yippee-Ki-Yay, so I wanted to do Yippee-Yi-Yay. And from the Die Hard movie, when he does Yippee-Ki-Yay, motherfucker. So I just kind of shortened it down, thought, well, that's great, that's perfect, So, and then once again, it's just a fun song, so I wanted to be really lighthearted and have fun in the concept, so I was just kind of looking for different themes, and it worked out perfectly, because that's the big background vocals on that Yippee-Yi-Yay. And
so your song is inspired by a Bruce Willis character.
Bruce Willis versus Elvis, and and different true to life things I've thrown in.